Hey, thank you for joining me here again on my official Friday Finish Lines. I hope you had a great end to your week and a great start to your weekend, and welcome back to another show. And thank you, and I appreciate each and every one of you for joining me here tonight or today, whenever you're viewing this, and I hope you guys had an amazing day. But let's get right into it. Like I talked about my Snapchat and Instagram stories, what I'm going to be talking about today is courage and being courageous and showing courage in the face of adversity. Even when you're afraid, keeping courage in your heart and pursuing through the goals or whatever is standing in your way. And so let's not waste any time. I have some amazing quotes for you guys and I can't wait to share them with you. And yeah, let's get right into it. All right, so let's get right into the first quote. Before we get to that, I have the definition of courage for you, which is the ability to do something that frightens you. So whatever it is in your life, courage is having the mindset to push through that thing, even though it's scaring you to the core or scaring you to your deepest, darkest fears, and making sure that you're overcoming these fears in order to change, in order to grow, and to become the people or the person that you want to become. So my quote that I have for you guys today comes from Napoleon Bonaparte, and he says, "Courage isn't having the strength to go on. It is going on when you don't have the strength." So what is it in your life right now that is tearing you down or deteriorating you or deterring you from getting to where you want to be? And what are you doing about it? Are you looking at it as something that is going to stop you and make you not want to continue your journey? Or are you keeping that strength, pushing through those obstacles and keeping the strength with you in your heart no matter what is going on around you? You can feel at your weakest, darkest point or things cannot be going the way you want them to, but courage is something that is going to lift you up. And most of us may not have courage. I know for me, it took a while to have courage. It took a while to be able to sit in front of this camera and feel comfortable talking to literally nobody. But what I'm here to tell you guys today is that you can overcome. With practice, patience, and the ability to want to learn, you can overcome whatever it is you have in your life. Let's recall back to our childhood stories of like the Wizard of Oz. The Tin Man wanted a heart, the Scarecrow wanted a brain, but the Lion, he wanted courage. And you know what? The Wizard of Oz told him, "You've had courage all along. You just didn't realize it, or you put yourself down and you told yourself that you didn't have it, so you didn't have it." And so what I'm trying to say from that example is that courage is something that's in here. It's that spark that just needs to be lit in order for you to keep pushing. And no matter what's going on around you, having the strength to go on when you feel like you have nothing around you or you feel like you have no one around you. Because if you continue, if you pursue, if you persist through whatever's going on in your life right in this moment, you will overcome and you will change. Those scars, whether they be physical or mental, they're all growing patches for what you have become today and what you will become in the future. Because like I say all the time, this isn't it. We're all gonna go through trials and tribulations in our lives every year, every day, every second, or every hour, whatever it may be. There's always gonna be something in our life that we're gonna see as something negative. But it is all about the mindset. It's having that courage and having that strength to say, you know what? I don't care what's going on. I know if I just push through this, there's something greater over the horizon. And my day of joy, peace, and happiness is coming. All right, so let's recall back to my definition of courage. Courage is having the ability to conquer your fears. And what I mean by this, it's not about not being afraid. We're all afraid of something. I mean, at one point in my life, I was super afraid of getting on roller coasters. I hated roller coasters. I was afraid that they were gonna break off and I was just gonna go flying off into the sky and then everything was gonna blow up, right? But what my cousin told me was, when he took me to Six Flags, my first time, I was like 10 years old, and I was like, this is the place of the biggest roller coasters probably in California, and I'm here with my older cousins, and I kind of have no choice but to get on these roller coasters. In my mind, I'm like, maybe I can baby my way out of it, and I cannot get on these roller coasters. But my cousin told me was, once you're on there, and once you get off, you're going to want to get back on because it's not as scary as you really think it is. And that's what I think courage is, and overcoming your fears, is that when we're faced with these fears, or we're faced with things that we may not be comfortable with, or we're faced with things that we are deeply, deeply afraid of, the fear of anxiety, or the fear of the outcome not being the way we want it to, or the fear of the unknown is what keeps us from getting to where we want to be. And so what I'm trying to say is, get on that roller coaster. Talk in front of that camera. Talk to that person you like. Go out and do something different. Go out and buy something that you always wanted to buy. Go out and wear that thing that you always wanted to wear, because you never know what is going to be the outcome, because you never know what you like until you try it. And that's what courage says to me. It's about going and looking at your fears in the face and saying, you know what? I'm going to do it, because no matter what happens or no matter what the outcome is, I know I'm going to be a better person for it. And I know that I conquered this fear. I did that. You did that. You did that for yourself. I told your fear, I don't care if I'm afraid of you. I don't care if this is the scariest thing I probably will ever do in my life. I'm going to do it. And you know what? I love roller coasters. I will go on any roller coaster any day, except for those ones that kind of go up and drop you down. It makes my stomach feel really weird. But what I'm trying to say is, and what I hope you guys gain from this kind of section of my video, is that fear and courage, it go hand in hand. Fear in the face and saying, I don't really care what you have to say. I'm going to do it anyways. That is where courage comes from. You have courage. I have courage. We all have courage. It's just something that we have to dig deep inside for and really realize that no matter what fears, no matter what unknown feelings we have about certain things in each and every one of our lives, we have to overcome, because we never know what kind of new things are going to open up for us. And so the quote I have for you guys comes from Nelson Mandela, and he says, I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man, woman, is not he, she who does not feel afraid, but he, she who conquers that fear. So conquer your fears. It's not about not being afraid, or it's not about being the bravest. It's about looking your fears in the face and saying, you know what? I'm going to do it, because I'm going to be a better person for it. And no matter what happens, it's going to benefit me. I conquered something that I never thought that I would conquer. And look at me now. Shoot, I'm on those roller coasters every day, every night. But whatever fears or whatever gives you some type of anxiety or puts those butterflies in your stomach, I promise you, you can overcome it. You just have to take that first step. Woo! Okay, you made it to my final quote, and I thank you so much for sticking to the end, because this is a great quote and it kind of ties everything I talked about today. So like I talked about in the beginning, how courage carries over into other aspects of our life, and we need courage in order to want to better ourselves and want to become better people. And so I'm going to start you guys off with the quote. It comes from Maya Angelou, and she says, courage is the most important of all the virtues, because without courage, you can't practice any other virtue consistently. And so what I think she means, and my interpretation of this quote, is that courage is a consistent thing. It's always there. It's something that is in our lives for the rest of our lives. And what courage does, it unlocks in ourselves, is the ability to want more. Wanting more, being more, and doing more for ourselves and for others. And making sure that we're being courageous. We're being the people that we want to be, and realizing that we can do it. You overcome those fears in your lives, and you can become the person that you want to be, the personality or the character traits that you want to develop in your life. And that's what courage brings to the table. It brings that extra backbone of, I'm not going to stop. I'm only going to get better, and I'm only going to want better for myself and for those around me. Courage is like an infectious thing, in my opinion. Once you have courage, people will realize it, and they'll want to be around you more, or they'll want to change something about themselves that they don't see fit, or they don't see as one of their stronger characteristics. And what I think courage carries over to, and the different characteristics that it kind of has an infectious feeling on, is kindness. Being true to yourself, being merciful to yourself and to others, being generous to yourself and to others, and being honest to yourself and to others. And what I mean by being merciful is talking to ourselves in kind ways. I say this all the time. We are our own worst enemy. You can put yourself down more than anyone can put themselves down. And I mean that in the way we spend so much time with ourselves that we talk to ourselves a lot. And so you give yourself negative comments. You tell yourself things that you probably shouldn't tell yourself, but it's so hard. It's so hard to overcome that voice in your head that is telling you, oh, you're not really good enough for that, or oh, I don't think you look good in that, or I don't think that's something that you should wear. Well, stop saying that stuff, because that's when courage comes into play. Courage shows you that you don't have to be afraid. You don't have to be afraid of wondering what the outcome is going to be, because courage is what keeps you afloat. Courage is the strength when you don't have any strength. Courage is knowing that no matter what is happening in your life in that moment, you are going to overcome. And you will overcome. And I promise you that. What I'm here to say is, and what I want to end off is, courage is something we all have and something that is inside of us. And you just have to remember that it can carry over into so many different aspects of your life. Once you face one fear, you're going to want to face another and another and another. And it's just going to become like a domino effect. And then once you see that change happening in your life, all those other fears about your own insecurities and about different insecurities that you have, the people talking about you or people kind of looking at you in a certain way, you'll overcome that because you're going to stand up with your chest out and with your head held high, and you're going to go out into the world and say, I'm not afraid, or I'm not afraid of being afraid, because I know that no matter what happens or no matter what comes to my face or what comes in my way, I'm going to persist through because I have the courage to. I have the courage to overcome pain. I have the courage to overcome anxiety. I have the courage to overcome depression. And I have the courage to overcome anything that comes into my life. And so just remember that it isn't the end, and it's not going to be the end, and that you will overcome, and that whatever's blocking you right now in your life, just have the courage to say, I'm going to keep going because I know there are better and brighter days ahead of me. All right, thank you for joining me once again on my official Friday Finish Lines. Hope you had a great end to your week and a great start to your weekend. And thank you for joining me here and empowering you to want better for yourself and want better for others. And so what I'm here to say is, have an amazing weekend, whatever plans you have with your friends or family, and have an amazing next week. And please join me back here again. I have an amazing topic for you once again, and I appreciate you for joining me here tonight or today, whenever you're viewing this. And have a great weekend and have a great day. And just remember that tomorrow is a new day that you will overcome. School has just started back up, so if you are doing online classes, which I know most of us are, please invest into some blue light glasses. Protect your eyes because my eyesight is terrible. I'm at like -5. So definitely gonna need these to protect my eyes so they don't get worse. And for those of you with 20/20 vision, I want you to keep that. So make sure you invest into some blue light protection glasses. And so just kind of want to give a little bit of 2 cents and give my opinion on the recent events that have happened in our world, in our lives that we are all seeing. There has to be justice. Justice for Jacob Blake. I know that it's crazy to find ourselves in the same position that we have experienced not too long ago and have been experiencing for years and years and years with my own family members and even with myself. And so what I'm here to say is it has to stop, and we have to continue to fight for change and to remember that it's never going to stop. And we have to consistently pursue change and consistently want more for others and want more for ourselves. And just remember that it starts with us. It starts with what kind of footprint we want to leave on this earth and what kind of legacy we want to leave with our children to come and our nieces and nephews that are growing up in this world, seeing what is happening to the people that look just like them. What I want you guys to see is never a trendy thing. It's never something that's just going to happen. It's something we must continue to fight for and continue to want to change, because what we have seen is that it's only going to continue and that it's never going to stop. So my prayers and my blessings go out to Jacob Blake and his family, and I am thanking God that he is alive to tell his part of the story and that he will have a voice and that he is going to be able to say his part. And just to realize that people are tired. People are fed up with what is happening in this world. And I'm telling you, it is only going to spark change in those that want to change the world or that want better. And for those of you that believe that what is happening isn't relevant or should not be having the impact it is having on sports and other aspects of the world, I just want you to realize that it is much bigger than that. And for those of you that don't see the situation the way it is, it's realizing it's not just another black man that was shot. A father, it was a son. It's someone that resembles those of us that are of color, and those of us that wouldn't want this to happen to our brothers or sisters or our fathers or other family members. And so I just want people to realize that change starts with you, and that you have to want change and you have to be the change you want to see in the world. So strive for more and always want more for yourselves and for others. And remember to smile, because there are brighter days ahead of us. And just to remember that it's gonna be all right. We just have to want more, be more, and do more. And that's all it takes.